one day we get a call from Joni Mitchell's photographer. And he said, Joni and I are driving in Staten Island and we'd like to come over and visit you. I said, ooh, that'd be great. And they came, it was a second floor walk up, and they came upstairs, and Joni was just wonderful, charming, delightful, beautiful, everything that we know about her. One of the world's finest singer-songwriters that I've ever heard, and still is, in my opinion. And chose two instruments, one of which was a very old, very beautiful 1913 Martin 0028 herringbone, and the other was unexpected. It was a Gibson Mandocello called a K4, which is a very large, very fancy baritone, I would say baritone voiced instrument. This is where the story gets really interesting. On the way home, when she left us in the car, she had an idea for a song. And the song was autobiographical. And in an interview much later, she said that this song, which is titled Song for Sharon, is the most introspective, the most autobiographical song she's ever written, and also one of her favorites. And it starts off with the line, I went to Staten Island, Sharon, to buy myself a mandolin. Meeting famous people is a whole other subject. And we've gotten virtually the entire world of acoustic players have been here, or we've done business with them. We've sold 2 pieces to Bob Dylan. We've sold pieces, Bruce Springsteen's wife bought him a mandolin, a beautiful, fancy mandolin for a Christmas present. Here's a big one. George Harrison's wife wanted to buy him a Christmas present and called up, and we had a national ukulele, which is very rare. They're really hard to find today, pre-war. And we spoke about it, and she chose it, and we sent it to her, and she gave it to him for Christmas, and he loved it. And when he was in New York, subsequently, around 1993, he was in a limo, and the driver of the limo happened to mention, oh, I'm from Staten Island. And George Harrison said, Staten Island? Do you think we could visit Mandolin Brothers? And the driver says, yeah, I've been there a lot of times. I can take you right there. And so they came over one day. They just walked in the front door as like you would anyone else. Unlike Joni, he didn't call first. He should have called first, but he didn't. And we spent the morning talking about ukuleles and nationals and ukulele banjos. And he was a very low-key guy. And I'm glad that we met him. We also did business with his partner, Paul McCartney. Sir Paul always had a Hofner Beatle bass, as you know. In fact, it's the only reason it's called a Hofner Beatle bass, because he used it. It's actually called the Hofner violin bass. And for years, all through the Beatles period, it was misintonating. Do you know what that is? It's when you put your finger on a particular fret and you expect it to play a particular note, but for some reason it doesn't play that note. It plays a different note. It's either too low or too high. And I think it must have driven him crazy, because your natural tendency is to compensate subconsciously. After a while, it just becomes second nature, to push a little harder when you play that string on that fret to get it to come up to the pitch that you want it to be. So, his left-hand man, whose name is John Hamill, that's his head technician, interviewed 5 world-class guitar repair shops, seeking to find out how they would repair this problem if they were given an opportunity to. And apparently our shop told him exactly the right answer, because about a month later he called up and said, Paul would like you to repair his bass. Oh my God.
I came in, I knew it was coming in, and I was told that the Paul McCartney's Beatle bass was downstairs in the shop, and I have permission to go to the shop. And I was always a huge Beatle fan, so I go to the workbench where the bass is lying, and I looked down, and I knew of nothing else to do but lean over and kiss it, because it was Paul McCartney's Beatle bass. And this guy went nuts, who was the bodyguard for the guitar, but the people in the shop calmed him down and said it was okay. But that's as close as I've gotten to the actual Beatles.
And when we returned it to John Hamill, who was here the whole time in the daytime, to bring back to Paul, we didn't know what to think because we didn't get any immediate feedback. And we waited, and the fall of that year, in Bass Player magazine, in an interview, Paul McCartney said, quote, "My bass never played in tune, but I brought it to Mandolin Brothers and they set it straight." Oh, we all exhaled simultaneously. So we had no idea how well it went over, but that was so lovely. After that, we did other business with him too.